In this video, we're talking about the Smartta Slider Mini, and we're gonna explore what this slider is all about and why I think it's an awesome slider. If you're new to this channel, my name is Jeven Dovey. I do a lot of filmmaking tutorials and camera reviews. So today we're talking about the Smartta Slider Mini. This little guy. So what this is a motorized slider, and what it does is basically your camera will go from left to right or right to left depending on which way you set it to go, and it can do live action or it can do time lapse. So it's a very simple device that gets you some really awesome footage. So I took this out, I went trail running the other day, and I really wanted to see A, how portable this thing was, and B, what kind of footage I can get while I'm on the go and on the move. So what I did is I just threw this in my backpack with my camera. I explored a trail that's near LA. It's a really cool place to go adventuring, go exploring. It has a strange history behind it. So before we get into talking about this slider specifically, let's just take a look at what kind of footage you can get with it. One thing before we get started, I was not paid to do this review. I just wanted to put that out front. They did send this to me early because this is an Indiegogo and it just launched today. So they gave it to me to test out, to play with, to sample, and to give you my thoughts about it because they're launching the Indiegogo today. So while I was filming all this footage, I didn't have anyone else with me. It was just me, the slider, and my camera with a little tripod head on it. And that's the beauty of the slider. It is super small, but it has a lot of features packed into it that makes it super powerful. So it's a unibody design, which means all in one. You don't really have to do much besides add your tripod head to it, whatever it is that you want to put on here. You can use smaller ball mounts, or you can do like a bigger video tripod head. And then if you want to mount it to something else, say a tripod itself, there is a screw on the bottom for that as well. It is super compact and it's super easy to get some awesome footage. As you can see, I was on a run, but I was able to pull the slider and my camera out of the bag, get some shots, and keep moving, and it doesn't take a lot of time to set up and go. It's got an 8-inch gliding path, and it's an all-in-one unibody design. You have your charging port, and you also have a port at a camera control cable. On the far side, you have a button, and this is how you turn it on, and this is also how you can run it if you don't want to use your phone. So a couple things I want to talk about the design. A, it's got a battery built into it. So like I said, it's unibody. There's not a lot going on here. The battery's in here. I actually don't know the full capacity of this battery, but I've been running it for the last few days and I haven't seen it drop very much in the battery itself. So that's a good thing. The battery lasts a while. You can use this button to make the slider move left and right. And that's one of the really cool things about it. So if you click it twice, it goes right. If you click it 3 times, it goes left. So when I was out trail running, one of the coolest things is that I didn't need to worry about connecting my phone to make this work. I just pulled it out of my bag, turned it on, clicked the button twice, and it starts moving. And so that's the beauty about this kind of product, is that you can set it down, it runs on its own, and it's very easy to use. You don't always have to have the app connected. And that's something I personally really like about this. So if I'm shooting myself, I can get these cool, subtle moving shots with a slider and not have to have anyone else there. I don't have to program a bunch of stuff. I can just hit a button and go. And that's one thing I really liked. As you could see in the footage, I was able to get a lot of different shots and some interesting angles using the slider that looks so much better when you put a little motion to it. When you move your camera, things look so much more dramatic. They look so much more produced than, say, if your camera was just sitting there on a tripod. Even if it's just the subtlest motion, it looks so much better. So that's kind of where this slider comes into play, is that you can get these subtle movements. You don't have to have a ton of gear, and this thing can go with you wherever you're going. So it's something that you could easily add into your kit if you want to get these subtle movements, and it's not going to take up a bunch of extra room. Like, you could slide this in a lot of parts of your bag. Now you might say, why don't you just use a gimbal? Well, a gimbal is great, but a gimbal doesn't have the same kind of functionality as a slider. So with a slider, you can do it hands-free. You could film yourself and still get that movement. You could also get more dramatic, very stylized, slow-moving shots where there's something foregrounded in the frame that you can't necessarily get with a gimbal because you're having to control the motion from left to right or right to left. This, since it's automated, makes it a lot easier for you to get those dolly style shots. And that's one element where this slider really shines. When you go into the app, you just power on your slider, it instantly connects, and you can see right here on this screen that you could change your speed, which it also shows how much time it takes to do the full movement from either left to right or right to left. It shows where the camera position is. Currently mine's on the left. When it goes to the right, it will shift to the right. So as you can see, when I click it, it's moving, and you can see it move in real time in the app, which is really cool. Now, one of the really cool things about this app is that when you go into the time lapse, Smartta has already put together a bunch of settings for different scenarios. So you have like stars, you have the Milky Way, you have a day road, a night road, and you can see there's a bunch of different settings to do time lapses, and it auto sets up all the time, and then it will connect to your camera and take a photo and then move the slider. Take a photo, move the slider. As you can see, you have all your frame rates. Like, there's some really cool functionalities with the time lapse, and one of the best parts about it is that if you want to make your own, you just go to the end and you can make your own settings that work best for you. So it's a super powerful and simple app. Now, the last thing you can do is stop motion. What you basically do is take a frame, click this button, it will move to the next frame, and then you just keep going through. And you can add however many frames that you want, up to 1,000, so you can have a cool sliding move in your stop motion projects. So as a whole, I actually really like this slider. It's simple and easy to use, and that's one of those things. If something is simple, if it's easy to use, then I'm gonna use it. I can pull this out of my bag and I can be ready to go within a minute to do a dolly shot from left to right or right to left. So normally I don't carry a slider with me, but this is definitely one that I'm gonna consider bringing depending on the trip. It adds a lot of value, and it's very easy to use, and it doesn't weigh that much. So guys, if you're interested to see more about the slider, I highly suggest checking out the link in the description. They're running an Indiegogo right now, and there is an early bird special where you can get it half off. If it's something that you would consider adding to your gear, I highly suggest checking that out so you can get a huge discount. But guys, that is it. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you want to see some cool videos on how to get cinematic footage, check out the video up here. If you just want to see another video on my channel, check out one of the videos down here. And guys, make sure you check out my Creator Film School, which is nuts to bolts, everything you need to know about how to have a career as a creator. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you on the next one.